quickly about something a source shared with me. Now, for those of you who know me, you know I believe in creating a very healthy boundaries. And when I leave a place or stop watching something, stop, if I close my gates, my eyes, my ears, my mouth, what's between my legs, if I close my gates on anything, it's final. However, I do have some people who at times would like to bounce ideas off of my head and we dialogue about certain things and they may catch a snippet and bring it back to me. What am I saying with all of this, right? I'm saying there was a content creator who said, "You never want to be first. Being first is a bad idea. Screw that blue ribbon. It's all about the orange ribbon that nobody even knows is still a color in the competition because we only know winning the prize by blue ribbons, right? We don't even know what color's next. Green ribbon, orange ribbon, red ribbon, right? Who wants to take home gold at the Olympics? You never want to take home gold at the Olympics. You definitely want to take home silver or bronze. Better yet, bronze. You want to be the third, fourth, fifth, sixth place. Um, that is gaslighting. That is gaslighting. And it's horrible advice. I used to write for a publication called Hip Hop Uncensored, and shout out to you. Oh, you're a game changer for real. You're a game changer for real. Um, I used to write for an online publication called Hip Hop Uncensored, and what happened with us is that there was a story about Brother Polite doing something. Okay, something, very much something that I don't necessarily want to say in the first 5 minutes of the video. But, they have been calling this man a PDF file for a very, very long time. And there was a verbal release of the story. And O woke me up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and was like, get on it. Get on it. It didn't matter that it was in the wee hours of the morning. It didn't matter that I was sleepy. It didn't matter that I was tired. When you are a journalist, when you are actually a journalist, it ain't about how many hours of sleep that you did or didn't have. Sometimes you have to hop on a story while it's hot. This is why I tell people I have more of a coffee talk channel. I don't have a tea channel. There are so many channels with the name tea in it that these AI channels want to call themselves gossip tea and spill tea and this tea and that tea. They've caught on to the trend. But the thing about hot tea is that it's hot. It's hot off the press, right? Before we started calling things, tea, we would say hot off the press. And the press would be what prints these newspapers that are literally so hot from the printer that it's hot to the touch, like the newspaper would be hot to the touch. And so when they say something is news or breaking news, it's hot off the press. And now we say something like this is hot tea, right? It's piping hot, right? Shout out to Lovely Tea, who it's piping hot. Um, that means it's first and it's freshest, right? Because if your tea cools down, if it whatever, today it's news, tomorrow it's history. Okay. So there was a person who criticized to being first. And I remember this same person from the same exact mouth, lips, tongue, teeth, said, "Have y'all ever seen that movie, The Platform? Y'all go watch that movie, The Platform. It's on Netflix. Yeah, I'm at the top of the platform. You eat whatever my saliva touched. I'm first. I get these stories and then pass them down to y'all." And I mean, braggadocious about being the first to have access to so much when it comes to Love and Marriage Huntsville. And have I seen the movie The Platform? No, because the preview was enough for me to realize I'm going to be uncomfortable through that psychotic movie, that narcissistic personality disorder exposing movie. Because there was a line in the preview that I said to myself before it even came on. And I'm going to show it to you, but I'm going to do so on mute. So I'm going to go on ahead and pull this picture down. Look at Tay. Look at Tay. Look at her pretty little face and her little symmetrical features. Look at Tay. Who said that? Yeah, girl. It don't matter because the principle is what matters. Um, this is nasty. The platform is nasty work. I mean, the whole movie, you can just see it's all about mental illness. It really is. So let me there's a line in here where I literally thought it in my head before I heard it on screen. But I would see these previews and I would be like, if everybody just ate their share, there would be enough for it to go all the way down. Like, why did he have to spit on that food? Why did he have to lick that? Why did he have to step on that? He knows there's people how many floors down and he's disrespecting the food for what? For what? Having an Islamic background, and it's Ramadan, by the way, coming from a Christian background, a Judeo background, and also an Islamic background, we're very specific about washing your hands before you eat, eating in groups, and eating on the plate from right to left instead of picking all over the plate. So, in case your leftovers go to somebody, you haven't picked through it. You have had enough compassion on fellow man to be like, "You can eat after me. I didn't dig all through that. I ate." Like, when we would eat in groups, we call it a halaqah, and when you eat in a halaqah, you start from a very small area on your plate, and if you want something from across the plate, someone will toss it to you. They will hand it to you or, spin the plate so you can reach and then spin it back. But there's not a whole lot of let me cough, let me sneeze, let me burp, let me this. You can't do that. It's shame. It's a lack of manners. It's a lack of adab. Adab is manners in Arabic. There's a book by Imam al-Bukhari called Al-Adab al-Mufrad, and it's all about etiquette and having manners. And one of the heights of a Muslim's faith is that he be well mannered. So, anyhow, I'm going to play this and you can read along with the subtitles. So, let me slow this down so that the subtitles make sense. Playback speed. I'm going to slow it down. Let's go. There are three types of people: those at the top, those at the bottom, and those who fall. Now, already when you hear something like that, you're expecting them to say, the ones at the top, the ones in the middle, the ones at the bottom. But nope, nope. The ones at the top, the ones at the bottom. Look how far down that thing goes. I don't know if it's 40 something floors, 50 something floors. Again, I thought the movie was it was such psycho torture. I was like, this isn't for me. I'm gonna go watch Sing 2. But it starts out with all this beautiful food and ends up this great big mess. And the people basically devolve. I mean, Lord knows what happens when you're a person on the platform. I guess those are the ones who fall. Was that a person? Of course it was a person. Is no one going to do anything? If everyone only ate what they needed, the food would reach the lowest level. Stepping on wonderful, beautiful, well prepared, you know, you didn't have to do all that. Going down is, you saw that word. Hunger unleashes the madman in us. So I don't know if there's 50 floors, if there's 142 floors. But you see how many people were screaming, the man screaming, the woman screaming, women being tossed on the platform and thrown to their endings. And this content creator was comparing herself and the Love and Marriage Huntsville community to the platform. And she was saying she's at the top of the platform, and you get what I touched, what I ate, what my saliva is on. And that whole time she was bragging about being number one, like a gatekeeper, like, I'm, you know, resource number one. Nothing you guys say is valid until I say something about it. And there are people, and the thing is, even when I made my video about there being a gray area with Love and Marriage Huntsville, and shout out to Melody who does black and white and does not do gray, I was told not to reveal what a detail that a different content creator revealed. And that's why I said they're in a gray area. So just because they are filming does not mean that they have a show. They are filming to save a show. They are filming to prove, well, look how good the show can be without Mel. There's still material here. They are filming to convince somebody to let them stay. Filming is not a guarantee of being displayed. You can pull the plug on a thing. We watched them pull the plug on a whole segment of the reunion and try to replace it with something else because you can pull the plug even in its process, even in the process of delivery. So, is there filming? Tisha already said long ago that there was filming. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to manifest into a show. There is a gray area. It is still a gray area. Do y'all remember when Kimberly said on that reunion stage, we filmed with Mel in her backyard for free? Those things were filmed for free because they did not yet have a show. It was, well, here's what we have to offer. Will you make this a show? Will you greenlight us? Will you order episodes from us? And I am saying this is where they are now. And this is why they didn't make the own 2025 list of shows that were increasing in views and shows that were renewed because it's up in the air. It's not up and stuck, but it's up in the air. And as far as the divinity that happened from Melody's Alpha and the Omega, beginning and the end dream, and on the same very day, only hours later, Tay accidentally stumbling over, revealing that news first, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't return to the air. But again, it's not in a permanent place, it's just up. It's up. It's not up and stuck, but it's up in the air. It's the same thing they dealt with when the show was new, when Kimmy and Letitia were in Mel's backyard insulting her in those fateful scenes about being bougie. They did all that for free because there was no guarantee. It's almost like shooting a pilot. It's almost like, let's show them the product. And maybe if we give enough for the product, they will reinstate us. So it's a maybe. But anyhow, what I was going to say about my story with Hip Hop Uncensored and the story that I broke the first article on what Brother Polite had done with all the Miami-Dade County information, X, Y, and Z. And when I tell you that article lived on the first page of Google, why? Because it was the first. So when everybody, and I do mean publications, I won't even name publications, I won't even name. But when the big wigs wanted to cite a source, I saw my article everywhere. Why? Because it was the first written article on Brother Polite and what he had done to his girlfriend's teenage daughter. That was the first time Hip Hop Uncensored had been on, and they had an SEO master, a search engine optimization master on their team. So maybe they would get on the second or third page of Google, but they were on the first page of Google because I got up at 4 a.m. because my boss called me at 4 a.m. and said, get up and cover this story. And I did it. I did it and I wrote it and I edited and I posted and bam, bam, trending like crazy. Even when the article was months and months old, when you would go to Hip Hop Uncensored, it would still say this article is number one in trending because the website got so many hits. Why? Because we broke the story. As far as writing is concerned, we broke the written story first. And our sources were so correct, our allegations were so correct, our whatever it was so correct. People were comfortable with citing basically me, but citing Hip Hop Uncensored as a source, one with integrity and one with reliability. So, do you always want to be first? No. It's okay to gather your thoughts. It's okay to wait and see. But when you say you never want to be first, that's cowardice. Because if you never want to be first, you want to make sure, well, I don't want to say something unless it's okay. I want to see the first person run out there and see if they look both ways and don't get smashed by a car or whatever it is. That's cowardice. Sometimes you have to be first. Sometimes you have to call a timeout and be like, are we really doing this? Is this even okay? Sometimes you have to speak up when you know what you know. And that just boils down to journalistic integrity and how committed people are to the truth and what their relationship is with it. So, when it comes to the news, sometimes it's best to be first, sometimes it's not best to be first, but in general, whether it comes to the news, that's why there's a such thing as breaking news. That's why there's a such thing as we interrupt your program tonight to discuss, breaking news, to break a story. Now, although when Tay Talk's thumbnail said canceled, it just said canceled because she was trying to convey the fact that, it may be canceled. But if you listen to her talk and you listen to people like me who were in the chat typing loud and clear, I was like, there's a difference when you type in, has Love and Marriage Huntsville been renewed for a 10th season versus has Love and Marriage Huntsville been renewed for 2025? It'll say yes for 2025 and no for the 10th season. Excuse me. It'll say yes for 2025 and no for the 10th season. That's just what it is. And Empress said that, Tay said that, I said that. So even the people who are guaranteeing you a show, it's a gray area. And allegedly that's why Marceau's been on social media acting strangely or not like his usual self because there is uncertainty. And allegedly they are back to square one where it's like, well, so far we're recording for free, but if the show does get picked up, then we will be paid for it. The same way Kimmy said on that reunion, well, we were recording in Mel's backyard for free. When she was complaining about whatever bedroom they got, which made all the sense in the world because they were a trio in a room for a trio. They were a trio, her, Tisha, and Destiny, in a room for a trio. So whatever, whatever. Um, so there's the person who brags about being first and says they're at the top of the platform and they eat first and you don't get anything that except for what they've already touched, except for, you eat my saliva, blah, blah, blah. Bragging about being first in the most sadistic way. The platform is a sadistic movie. To pull that out of your brain, out of every other example. because Surya Bonali was first on ice skates. Simone Biles was first. Like world class goat. There's so much to compare yourself to, but to use the platform says so much about the psychological experiences of this content creator. Bragging about being first and you only eat my leftovers too. Oh, it's never good to be first. Maybe it's just not good to be first when you're not first. Maybe it's not good to be first because you were second or third or fourth. But there are people who would like to interchange chat and be like, shout out to so and so for breaking the story. And I'm like, you don't do that in other people's chat when Tay breaks a story. So how about you not do that over here? What are you trying to colonize for? What are you trying to prove? We always say, please don't mention any content creators unless we say their names first. Please don't mention any content creators unless we say their names first, because that's how you know it's safe. And moreover, even if it is safe, that's how you keep confusion down to a minimum. That's how you keep it down to a minimum. And it's a mad thing, yeah. It's a mad thing that you would mention a content creator who you never mention a content creator in someone's chat that you've not seen in that person's chat. Of all the times you've been there, you've never seen that person in there. Even though that person is very much lurking, even though that person has very much been in the DMs and whatever, lurking and disagreeing about, however we feel about Kiki Jabbar and whatnot, very much watching, but will not leave a comment. There's a lot of content creators out there that are very much watching, but will not be caught dead leaving a comment unless it's from one of their many, 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 many troll accounts. And my chest, my chest is so puffed up with, who I am and living life authentically. I'm like, I can't bring myself to make a troll account. If I'm not there, I'm not there, honey. I'm not showing up. And besides, I think troll accounts can be a trap because I've nailed trolls for who they really are because you cannot break the pattern in which you communicate. Even if you put yourself in the mind like, "Oh, I'm going to speak like I'm a Londoner and I'm going to change my English." And you're like, "Oh, I'm a speak like my name is Shaquania today and I'm a be in it." There's something about the pattern of the way a person writes that is just distinctive if you're good at pattern recognition. And I'm just like, somebody good at pattern recognition would absolutely catch me. I remember there were a bunch of troll uppity unicorn accounts. If you try to at me, like if you try to make a video and you try to at me, there are like 9, 10, 11 different uppity unicorns. And there were people who wanted to get me in trouble and took my name and entered into different chats acting up. And I'm like, I don't even speak that way. I don't even use that kind of diction. And one time I was there too. And I'm just like, well, click on my name. Click on that person's name and click on my name and see how many subscribers they have and where that channel goes back to. That used to be a thing on YouTube years ago. I'm not sure if you can still click on people's names and see their channels, but there was a time where you could. And I'm just like, sorry, I'm the real uppity unicorn. I don't know what that person's doing, but that ain't it. But people were so angry at my integrity that they tried to use my name to smother it, to smother that reputation because, like me or not, I am typically believed because the truth means something to me, a big something to me. Integrity means a great deal to me. So, anyhow, that's all I got in Got No Mo. And I do recognize that, from time to time, people send me super thanks. And oftentimes we say thank you when it's a super chat and it's a super sticker. But a super thanks doesn't really happen during a live stream, it often happens during an upload. So I wanted to give you some super recognition. Thank you so much for your super chats, your super stickers, your super thanks. It means so much to me. With that being said, I'm going to go on ahead and get out of here. Be a critical thinker. Be a critical thinker. Be a critical thinker. Do not allow yourself to be gaslit. Do not allow yourself to be convinced by clout. Be convinced by reason, be convinced by a good argument, be convinced by logic, be convinced by ends that meet. All right? Y'all be good. I'm uppity and I'm out of here.